Hello,
Hello, welcome to
Ep-
Console Shock.
episode 13. That's a
Yes,
lot, isn't it? That's over 12 at least, I think. Yeah,
13, yep, 13. And we're keeping it to every 2 weeks now. This is pretty good.
this is unprecedented, isn't it?
I
I
know, I
realise I'm getting
know.
spoilt to hell at the moment with this. This is just, we're setting ourselves up for another year off now, aren't we, by the time we get to.
No, that's not going to happen.
But yeah, we're back. Here is Stuart, Earl of McNeill Shire. How's it going?
Yeah, good. You don't have
What's
to
it
say my
like?
full. You don't have to say my full name.
Oh, that's great. Now you're going to get stalked,
You,
aren't you, on
are you
Facebook?
gonna say my date of birth next?
Social security number. Don't
Yeah.
ask me how I have that. I just do. But yeah, how is it owning the only
Only the
retro game shop
best.
in London, possibly Europe?
It's very good, very good. I am enjoying it big time.
Any good deals on FIFA trade-ins?
No,
Double credit or something?
no,
You get
no.
50p instead of 25 on a FIFA 13 trade-in.
Basically,
360.
yeah. Basically,
Cool.
not
Get
a
down there,
lot.
guys, with those piles of FIFA. That's
But
what she was like. No, do not encourage them. Stop now. Stop there. Got enough copies of that. Thank you very much. But yeah, what we're going to talk about today.
the
There's a
Sega,
hint on the screen.
the Sega Master System.
Indeed. But I guess before we do that, we'll do our usual of what you've been playing, and all that sort of gubbins. So, Stu, what have you been playing?
Well,
This
I've
week?
been actually picked up in the Black Friday the Call of Duty
COD.
COD, but I got the what's it called edition? The insane, not the insane, the
Legacy.
Legacy. I think for some reason I was trying to think of a word
Insane.
start with I.
Mental edition. Yeah.
Yeah, Dan from the shop just asked for a shout out. So
Hey, Dan from the shop. I assume
yeah,
that's Playnation. We need
from
to get
Play.
Dan on this.
No,
It's been
no.
too long.
Honestly, he's got a lisp. He's got a bit of a lisp,
Yes.
so he doesn't
Listen to
sound
your
very good
voice,
on
mate.
radio. Honestly, he can't even put two words together. To be honest, that poor lad. Uh,
But if you want to know who that is, anyone that's listening,
yeah.
to hear this list that Stu is very prejudiced against, is
Whoa! I'm not prejudiced against him.
just saying, man. Just leave
Right.
it. I'm just saying.
If you
Um,
go to the shop Monday to Friday, Mr. Dan will be there, and I'll be there every Saturday, usually terrorising Yu-Gi-Oh players,
Trading in FIFA,
and
turning away FIFA trade-ins.
and just arguing with people and things like that. But I'm there at the weekends, and Dan's there Monday to Friday. So give him a shout and mention the podcast, and say you really want to hear him on there.
We
And
love Dan.
yeah, don't call him Daniel though. He
He's
doesn't
a big
like
fan
that.
of scrolling beat 'em ups, which I'm also a fan of.
He is.
The genre's died a bit, unfortunately, but
Yeah, it has a little bit. It's coming
closest thing
back.
was Rise, Son of Rome. That was actually a modern, in my opinion, scrolling beat 'em up, but everybody hated it. It's really funny because everyone was like, "Oh, yeah, it gets really boring just walking around punching people." And you say, "Oh, do you like Streets of Rage?" "Oh, yeah, it was great. Used to walk around punching people." It's like, what what happened? Why don't people like walking around doing that in games anymore?
Well, that's it. If you think about something like Streets of Rage, everyone just has fond memories of it. But
Exactly.
literally, it was just walking forward, punch, 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 kick.
Repetitive as hell, but
You
enjoyable.
know, it was so repetitive. And now I think if someone brought that game out, I don't know, it'll be. Oh, I wouldn't be interested in playing it, but
The trouble is, there's been attempts to do it, but they get really bad reviews. So people on
yeah.
Rise was one, and there was Final Fight Streetwise, and
Well,
which was a while ago now. But yeah, and they just fail, so they've just given up. I
well,
think.
saying that though, a game which was very good, which I actually completed, was a game called Dragon's Crown. So it
Oh, was
was
that weird, women with huge knockers?
it did, yes. There
manga
were
thingy.
there were women with huge knockers in this
Yeah,
game, made by
Red.
Vanillaware.
Sexist. Yeah,
And with that game, it was basically a sort of a scrolling beat 'em up, but it was all about collecting stuff and redoing the levels to collect better gear. So it had a little bit of sort of Diablo. You had to level up your character, so it was very much like an RPG with a sort of a beat 'em up sort of mechanic.
I think I know what you mean. There was actually a very good. I'm actually going to look it up.
Yeah.
Called King of Dragons or something on the Super Nintendo.
King of Dragons.
King of Dragons, yeah, that's it. It's literally it was an arcade port that went. It didn't come out in the UK. It's only on the in the US in on the Super Nintendo, and it's literally it's a scrolling beat 'em up, but you level up and we did kind of in Golden Axe, didn't you, a little bit, but it was a very good leveling up system.
Well, saying that though, even in Double Dragon, you leveled up because when the further you got in the game, you got a slightly higher star. So when at the start of the game you could punch and kick, and then you could a little bit further on you can do a flying kick, or you could do a back you could do a big spinny sort of roundhouse kick, and you could do loads of other things. So it made the game a little bit more. How do you put it? I those
progression. Gave you progression.
Exactly. So the idea was to actually try and get points, so you got all these better moves earlier on in the game. But anyway,
also, Dynamite Cop, wasn't there? That was a good one.
I never played that.
It was a sequel to Die Hard Arcade. So if you remember that on the Sega Saturn, which that was kind of a scrolling beat 'em up modern one, and Fighting Force is the one everybody mostly remembers.
So I think Die Hard Arcade, that was meant to be a Streets of Rage game or something, or Fighting Force was meant to be Die Hard Arcade 2.
Yeah, that was. I think Fighting Force was
like
supposed to be Streets of Rage, but then I think Sega didn't want to do it. What is their problem with not making a Streets of Rage game? It's like, come on, Sega. They'll make 50 terrible Sonic games, but they won't just bring back. But yeah, it was just they're kind of reluctant. But then there was that survey recently, wasn't there? Everyone's banging on about that Japan put on, and Streets of Rage was one of the top 6 or something voted franchises that they want to bring back, but it won't happen.
No,
you know, I like teasing people with that stuff.
I mean, I'd love to see another Streets of Rage with a sort of a modern twist to it. I think that'd be really good. But anyway, this week I've been playing Serious Sam, the HD collection on the Xbox 360, and Call of Duty, the Modern Warfare. So I'm not. So I'm not.
Is that the remake or the remastered one?
The remastered one. I only really bought the Legacy Edition to get that, and do you know what? I've just been playing all the old levels, and it's so good when you actually know your way around the levels and you know the little hiding places.
Or the actual multiplayer.
To be honest, I've only done the multiplayer so far. The single player is, it'd be interesting to see what it all looks like now, but I don't know. I'm a little bit more interested in the multiplayer. So back in the day, and I put in quite a few hours into that. I was still rubbish at it. Don't think I'm, any sort of, Call of Duty.
12-year-old American kid.
Yeah, exactly. But I did very much enjoy playing Call of Duty.
I'm just not into the multiplayer on it. I've played it briefly, but obviously I get my ass kicked because I'm not I haven't got the Twitch kind of responses that the kids that play that all day get. So I just don't find it enjoyable running around getting shanked, from behind, for the 50th time. Maybe if I set up like a private lobby with like mates and stuff, that's a bit more enjoyable. But
I think it's one of those things. The best moments I had playing it sort of back in the day, I've got to stop saying that, is when you got your headphones on and there's 4 or 5 of you all together, and it's more about just running around and you shooting each other, having a bit of a laugh and a bit of good conversation.
Yeah, but that's that has gone now, isn't it? It's all about sitting on your own in front of a telly with.
No. This will still be on your own, but you'll meet up. Because I remember when I first opened up the shop down in Ashford years and years ago, we'd spend a lot of time each night playing all these games with our customers, and they all became really good friends. And then you meet other people online. And
you opened up a shop everywhere in the southeast. The shop I had in Clacton on Sea is like. You've had quite a shop career. It's good.
It's good. Well, yeah.
In bloody Woolwich, where I live.
No, no future for it. No future for it. I wouldn't get into it if I had the chance again. Well, so I've enjoyed it, but but no, it was such good fun, and having lots of people, and you go online and people invite you into games, and it wouldn't be there for the competitive side of it. It'll be there just for you're basically just chatting away to people and enjoying yourself, really. And you know, I was never the best, but at one point I was never the worst. I'm probably the worst now, but at that point I was never the worst.
Yeah, I mean, I started doing a bit of Star Wars Battlefront, and because it started multiplayer only, and it's just I find it's kind of stressful. I can only do it in short bursts.
Oh,
I can't sit there for 4 hours. I can do it for maybe an hour, and I'm just like, just a constant like having to be on it. You can't just. It's not. I don't find it very relaxing. You know what I mean? But maybe if I was really good at it and I could just sit back and go on automatic, but I don't. I'm not good enough to be like that. You have to be like, so I have to do it in short bursts.
And what I find is it's almost I play it very late at night. So and late at night for me is probably 10:30 to about 11:30 or you know and I'm playing it and I'm shooting everyone and then more 9 times out of 10 they're shooting me more and I'm all on edge and then I go to bed and I'm sitting there going, well, it's 11:30. I've got to be up at 6 in the morning.
I've got to say hello to my girlfriend. She's been for the last 4 hours.
Well, exactly. and I'm just this like really sort of nervous, sort of buzzing wreck, really. And I'm
thinking about your kill streak or lack of it. You've got, and you're like, oh my god, I've got to tell everybody about this, but I've got to get up for work.
Yeah. Dan said it better be a good one for a shout out. Make me sound really cool. Okay.
You or Dan. Well, you sound
Dan.
You can't sound any more cool, Stu. You sit at home all night playing video games on your own with your girlfriend in the other room. Who doesn't want to do that?
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, Dan is really cool. I've got a fact about Dan.
He works in a video game.
Even at night, no, he always wears the sunglasses.
For realsies.
Day in, day out, he's always wearing sunglasses because he's so cool.
Well, Johnny Cage wore sunglasses even on a night stage. So
that's it. Well, there you go.
He wore sunglasses indoors on that sort of like catacombs like stage. I'm talking about Mortal Kombat 1. Well, it's kind of in all of them, isn't it? But yeah, the one that had like just little like arches with like eyes in like the darkness. That. Well, actually, he didn't wear them during the fight, did he? He kind of put them on when he won. So yeah, actually depends which Street Fighter, which Mortal Kombat we're talking about. I think Trilogy, he had glasses on permanently, didn't he? Even during the fight. I think. Yeah. Well, we're getting into really interesting stuff that's going to really make people want to listen more. But yeah.
Anyway,
what
have you been playing, Trevor?
You know what? I always think, what have I actually? And I can never. My mind goes blank. I installed the original Gears of War on my PC, so I started playing that. Again, it's been a while since I played it. Obviously, the last time I was on the 360, and it was good. It's good fun. It feels a lot more repetitive than it used to. It's just like shooting gallery cutscene, walk for a bit, shooting gallery cutscene, and that's kind of the whole structure of them now, isn't it? But yeah, I kind of got to the bit where you have that really irritating, like super powered bad guy that you have to lure outside so you can hit him. With,
what's it called?
Gun. I've got what it's called. Yeah, it's that thing. So yeah, I got as far as that. I'm kind of going to jump back into it, but I've been getting home like a bit late during the week at the moment, so I've kind of.
We know why, don't we? Well, we know why.
Really hard.
We know why.
Not really work. Tell me why. You seem to know something here, Stu.
I do. I was going to say a rude word, which I said earlier before, but I don't think that's appropriate for this podcast. But there was a nincompoop who chose to be sick this week, so he had to work late. And
well, yes, I mean, it happens in work, so I had to cover a wee bit. But yeah, it doesn't lend itself to it doesn't lend itself to you know, really story driven games where you have to watch like huge cutscenes and remember all you know, all the storyline and all that stuff. I just can't be asked sometimes of that stuff. I'll leave that to the weekend when I've got to sit and watch loads of cutscenes and all that crap. So that basically means the go-to game is FIFA, isn't it? Really. But I'm on the old. I always say campaign. Not, you know, that word is, you think of like FPSs. But I use it for everything. I'm doing the old My Player, or what's it called? My Pro, whatever it is. I've been doing that. I've got a dude that I've got. Although I don't play it like the default way, where you're just the one guy and you have to rely on the terrible AI of the computer to pass to you and all that stuff.
Is this the story mode you're talking about?
No. It's not the journey. It's just the career mode. But when you're playing, it's just one player.
Can I quickly interject and tell you about the story mode? My girlfriend's Justine, and her cousin.
Your girlfriend's Justine?
No, Justine.
Oh, silly baby.
And her cousin, who lives in Vancouver, filmed some of the bits for my story bit on FIFA 17.
Wow, fact for you there.
There you go.
You should have told me ahead of time. I would have done the Stuart's interesting fact link.
We should get a little soundboard.
Too late now. We need to get a seat to professionally record that. I think because you keep them up your sleeve, then you just like unleash them.
Unleash the facts.
All over the place, and the audience will just be like, you know.
Yeah.
Just reeling from it. Well, that's quite cool. That's quite cool.
No, I was proper jealous.
Is that person in the credits of the game then, or something? Is there even?
Their company maybe, I don't know.
He works for EA, or they contracted.
No,
they do that, don't they? They contract out the cutscenes, don't they? Video game.
They are a team of sort of photographers, and they do viral, you know, lots of adverts and things like that.
I didn't even realise that companies did that. I always thought when you make a video game, they make everything, but no, they have subcontractors that do cutscenes, and that's all they do.
Yeah.
Because they've got all like, you know, they're given the assets, and they say, yeah, here's the characters like models and stuff. Go and make us like here's a cutscene. So yeah, that's really interesting. That probably explains why sometimes the quality of the cutscenes is like, you know, a bit rubbish compared to the rest of the game or something if they got a rubbish contractor. Alien Isolation, I'm looking at you. They look rubbish in that, and I think they actually came out and said, yeah, sorry guys, the contractor was a bit naff that made them, so yeah.
No problem. What, did you pick up any games for Black Friday?
No, I didn't. I was a bit underwhelmed by it all, to be honest. Last year I got like WWE, and I think I got FIFA. But no, I didn't. I mean, I've got. You mentioned Call of Duty. I've got that coming at Christmas, courtesy of my girlfriend buying it. But Forza Horizon 3, that was also kind of a Christmas thing, so I've got to wait until then before I can play them. But so I guess yeah, but not me buying them, but like other people doing it. So yeah, and I haven't played them yet, so I can't talk about them. How awesome is that? Great for a podcast. But
no,
yeah. So it's been FIFA basically for me.
I'm actually looking forward to getting. I'm going to pick it up on Saturday. Is the new Final Fantasy 15?
Oh, really? You're going to do it?
I am.
You've got 100 hours to spare then.
Well, to be honest with you, to complete the story is only 40 hours. So
is that if you literally just go fast travel to like each thing? You probably can't have the fast travel, can you? I thought it would have to be about 20 hours in or something to do it. So.
I don't know, but it does seem a little bit shorter than the other games, but still very long. But I do like RPGs, and this reminds me of Xenoblade Chronicles X, which came out on the Wii U. But this, obviously set in the Final Fantasy world, it should be hopefully a lot better.
They are completely lost on me. Japanese RPGs, apart from Zelda, and the Western ones. Well, they're not Japanese RPGs, so of course they would be. But yeah, they don't do anything for me. Final Fantasy VII bored the tits off me. That's just it's like blasphemy to people to say that.
Well, with
But yeah, I just didn't do anything for me at all, and I just find they're just quite inaccessible. I think they kind of make them for the fans, really. I don't think they really make any attempt to sort of make them sort of appealing to anybody that's not a fan. Thankfully, the fan bases are quite large, so that can support, enough sales. But yeah, I just don't do anything for me. I prefer like Elder Scrolls, and I don't know if they're more sort of blow brow. I suppose they are, aren't they? A little bit, but yeah.
Well, no, they're American style RPGs. Well, no, Western style RPGs, and you get the Eastern or Japanese.
They're doing that with Zelda now,
style.
aren't they? Everyone's like, oh, there's what's it called? Call of the Wild, whatever it is.
I wouldn't call Zelda an RPG because it's more of an action adventure game to me. It has got leveling up elements, and well, yeah, that's true, but
I mean, you can kind of, it got a bit vague, isn't it? Because Grand Theft Auto has similarities to, well, I suppose like Elder Scrolls. Well, Elder Scrolls is older, isn't it? Has similarities to Grand Theft Auto and vice versa. But I don't think you call Grand Theft Auto an RPG, even though you level up, certain attributes, but they don't really feel any different, though, do they? Like, oh, great, my stamina's 10% better, but I never really feel a difference when that happens. Whereas you kind of do, I suppose, in an Elder Scrolls game.
No, and the good thing about Final Fantasy 15 is it's real-time action combat system. So it's not, your move, their move, your move, their move.
Yeah, that used to bore me.
You throw some magic, they heal themselves, and so on, and then you start the whole process again. This is hopefully going to be a lot more sort of fluid and things like that. And the reviews have been, it's been getting 8.5s, 9%. And I just want a good story to sort of get into and
just dig out Shenmue, play that.
No, Shenmue is an absolutely awful game.
Greatest game ever made.
No, fact, it's an awful game.
It's brilliant.
Honestly.
Are you saying walking around your house, looking in your fridge and opening drawers isn't exciting? For shame, Mr. McNeill. I said your surname again, sorry. For shame. Yeah. What is wrong with you?
Well, I don't know. Call me
mincing around some kind of fantasy fairy landscape thingy and hitting someone, stepping back, letting them hit you, and hitting them again is better than that, is it? Is it, Stu? Is it? Tell me.
I don't mind mincing around, but I want mincing around with the good control system without stupid low times whenever you turn a corner.
So there's a mincing ratio for you.
Well,
there is a mincing ratio.
You got a fast mincing. That's what I want.
Fast mincing. Exactly,
you got a fluid mincing. I want. That's what a fluid mincing, where you can get into cars, where you can drive around, where the story is engaging, where you don't have to keep on asking people random questions about some stupid murder or something happened to my father. Oh, for God's sake, give me a break.
It's his bloody dad and stuff, dude.
Oh, God. I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry.
It is like Marmite, though, isn't it? There's people that like me who freaking love that game, and there's people just like, oh, it's really boring, and it's like my girlfriend hates it. Like I try to sort of force her to play it, and then she just spent the whole day in the bloody arcade playing darts game. I'm just like, you're missing the point. This is an amazing story, so I just want to play darts. She spent all the money that Ine-san gave her, and she went home late and annoyed her again. So I'm just like, just didn't embrace it. I'll be really, is how I would sort of say it, which is a shame. But anyway, so yeah, that's what we've been doing. So let's get to the main thing, shall we? So we're going to talk about.
We're going to get to the meat and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes.
Of the podcast.
Yeah. You could see it. I've got a little video of various games for it playing. I've already mentioned it. But we're going to talk about the Sega Master System, aren't we, Stu?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I actually hate the Master System. I've never played it. I don't know any facts about it.
Are you being sarcastic?
I am, Matt. I was about to say, Trevor, Trevor, it's over to you.
We're going to say what is, yeah.
So it's over to you.
I think we have to cancel the podcast if you like. I haven't played a frigging Master System. Like the cornerstone of the European gaming, really. In my opinion. Not counting the home computers, obviously they are really.
I have to let you know, I have got the Wikipedia page up of Master System, the Master System, and yeah, I'm just reading a little bit about the information here. So I'm here as a fact canon.
Stuart's amazing facts.
Fact canon.
Fact canon.
It was actually.
Fire your cannon at us, Stu. Fire it.
Right, first fact. The Sega Master System is the longest-lived game console, 30 years and counting, due to its popularity in Brazil. So it came out in 1985 in Japan as a Sega Mark III, but then still being, oh, not obviously, why would you know that? It's still being sold in Brazil up until this day.
You're just reading the Wikipedia page.
Well, I'm taking facts from the Wikipedia page and reading them in a different order, Trevor.
Okay.
I'm reading them in a different order. So, in Brazil, there are huge import taxes on PlayStation 3, PlayStation, Xbox 360s, and so on, according to Kim Justice, one of my favourite YouTubers. That makes the Sega systems, the original ones, because they're made by a company called Tectoy in Brazil, extremely inexpensive relative to other systems. Still very, very popular.
Yeah.
I finished. Go ahead.
You finished reading the Wikipedia page. So yeah, it's the longest-lived games console, and it's actually still being manufactured in Brazil, I believe. I don't think they're making games, but the hardware is still being made that is Master System based.
Yes.
So it's outlived everything, basically, and it was pretty good as in terms of being a mainstream. I still remember games coming out in like sort of 1994. I think the last PAL game was 1996. It was a French Smurfs game.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you a funny story about that. There was this guy who kept on messaging our shop saying, I've got this game, Smurfs Around the World or something it's called.
I think it's something like that, yeah.
And he always messaged us saying, oh, how much will you give for it? And this game, to be honest, it's worth 100, 150 pounds. So we'd offer him a fair price for it. And I said, I'll bring it down to the shop. We'll have a look at it. And then, of course, he wouldn't bring it down. And
well, he had it.
Yeah, and then he put on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, my whole.
Here we go. It's Autour du Monde. So yeah, go around the world. I guess
that's it. But he put on Facebook that my whole collection of games has been ruined by the flood in my house. So I was chatting to someone, a friend of mine who's also stations, and it was quite funny because he searched games flood. And this guy, who lives somewhere in the UK, was using these photos of this flood, but actually he got them from a news story in Australia where they had a big flood and it flooded his and destroyed all of his games, his whole game collection. And it was in like papers in Australia because, it was people, oh no, this poor guy, he's lost all his games, mate. And then this guy was using it all across Facebook, saying, "Oh, look, all my games I've ruined them all. Look, I've had a flood in my house." And trying to get sympathy from people. I don't know what his game was.
It's quite funny actually, because when I think of flood and someone's collection getting ruined, I think of Larry Bundy. I don't know Larry Bundy, the YouTuber. Is his main cursed? He does a thing called a fact hunt.
Yeah, I
didn't say another word.
What's his YouTube name?
I think it is literally Larry Bundy Jr. And then his main one that
Guru
I like
Larry.
Watching Guru Larry. Yeah, that's it. And the main one that I like is Games Yanks Can't Wank.
Yes, that's good.
I'm sure you could wank a game, but basically, he just is. They're kind of not really for us. I think they're for his American sort of fans, because we have lots of games that never came out over there, mainly like Spectrum and some ZX Spectrum as they like calling it, the ZX Spectrum, and Commodore 64. So he does little videos on that, and also when we got weird conversions of American games like Contra's with Gryzor, and stuff like.
Contra.
Probotector as well, yeah.
Probotector, yeah.
But on the Spectrum and Commodore 64, it was called Grisor.
Oh God.
For some reason, yeah, weird. But yeah, he had a video like, God, this is quite a while ago now, about 6 years ago, where he had like all of his game collection in like a shed.
Oh.
So that was his first mistake. But that shed had like a flood, and it completely ruined all of his games. And he did a video showing it. It was kind of if that happened to me, I'd probably would kill myself. But yeah, he completely ruined all of his games, like really expensive, like NES, Master Systems, like everything.
Well, anyway,
yeah.
for this guy that he was telling, I can hear myself again, Trevor.
You keep cutting out a little bit, actually.
It's a little bit. I think it comes out fine on the stream. So, once we upload it.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So this guy had the last ever game for the Master System.
Yeah, so he kept on going on about this, and then he put on Facebook about how he lost all his games, and I sort of not called him out. I didn't mention him, but what I did was on the Playnation Games Facebook page, I put, "Oh, look at this poor guy in Australia. He's lost all of his games. You know, this poor fella." You know, and imagine how much these all cost. And I shared it to all of the groups that he was going on about how he lost his games, but using the identical same photographs.
So what was he trying to do? Just trying to get sympathy? People give him free games or something?
I don't know what he was trying to do. I think he was just trying to get more friends and a bit of sympathy.
So did this guy come into your shop and like show, here's the Smurfs game?
No, that's it. He'd always tell people that he found it at a boot fair for £5, and then the next week he'd be, I found another one in a cash converters for £10. I can't believe how lucky I am. And this was his story all the time. Is in this game for the Master System that's extremely rare, and in the 8 years we've had the shop open, we've never seen this game once, and we've had absolutely thousands of games traded into us, but we've never had this game in once. But he seems to keep on finding it. But the point is the fact that we never saw this game, and he didn't want to bring it in, and then he was telling all these stories about how he lost his whole game collection with the flood, but then used the photos of some poor guy in Australia. So anyway, there's my little story about.
So that was bloke lied on internet, might have had Smurfs game. Long version.
Yeah. Guy bullshitted a story about having a Smurfs game.
Games might have got wet.
Games, didn't really get wet, but we called him out on it, and then he unfriended me on Facebook. Yes, that guy.
Were you just like venting then? It just happened to have a vague connection to the Sega Master System.
I still like the Master System. That story hasn't taken away my like for the Master System.
Well, that game came out in 1996. So this PlayStation had already been out for a year, and an 8-bit console was still getting. Well, that was the last game. Had a release commercial. It's not like a homebrew thing. An actual commercial release came out for it. It's probably a terrible game. It looks all right in the screenshots. I could like get that up on the old YouTube. Yes, it actually had a commercial release. But yeah, I mean, it didn't do well in America. The NES kind of basically annihilated it. Not through completely the fault of Sega. They basically, Nintendo's contracts that they managed to get meant they couldn't, third parties couldn't make games for other systems, so they were a little bit screwed.
Well, I found that the issue with the Master System for me is I don't remember a time when the Master System was out, but the Mega Drive wasn't.
It was like it was kind of, it's a funny era, wasn't it? Where a lot of the companies
they're
had
almost
three systems on the go. Yeah,
because you had the NES, and that was out for ages, and then you got the sequel to the NES, the Super Nintendo. But with the Sega Master System, it felt like, you could, if you wanted a Sega console, or you get the Master System, that's a bit cheaper, or you got the Mega Drive. They seemed to be both out in the same time. So in the UK, EU, the Master System came out in 1987.
So it actually had 3 years. I think it was at 90. The Mega Drive came out, so there was 3 years where that was the only system.
Well, yeah, well that's it.
For the Sega system, yeah.
Yeah, so about 3 years really, but it
was probably Stu. You still there? Stu?
Can you still hear me?
We lost you. Yes, we lost you.
So I'm using my iPod, my iPhone. I know who called me, so I'm going to message him and I'll just say, Marcelo, I'm doing a podcast, mate.
You're getting calls. So yeah, so I was saying, so basically, so it had 3 years on it, but I think it was probably the first. I guess there was the original Atari 2600 over in the UK, but in terms of like a console, it was basically dominated by the market. It was dominated by Amiga and it would have been Spectrum and Commodore 64, and then it went on to the Amiga and the ST. But the first, I think, console that kind of did anything during that was the Master System. The NES didn't really get any kind of foothold, and so the Master System almost set the UK up for the subsequent until.
Well, I like the Master System because, for one, the machine was quite cheap. It had a game built in.
It was like 80 quid, wasn't it? I think compared to like NES might have been about £20 or £30 more.
I want to say it was £59.99.
I think without a game, wasn't it? I think, or without a game or anything, it was 60 quid, and then you 20 quid more got you like, was it the Safari Hunt and the Hang On cartridge? Yeah.
It was something like that, but for me, it was the games were a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yes, and a lot of them were Amiga. It got a lot of Amiga ports as well. I don't know, lots and lots and lots, but it got a lot of them, and they looked pretty good. It was very powerful. It was more powerful than the NES. I mean, you can see the sort of the footage that I'm showing from YouTube. Everything looks very colourful. It doesn't look too far off from an Amiga, which is impressive for an 8-bit console.
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly a more powerful machine than the NES. It had a much better colour palette, and I always think that NES graphics, they always look really, it sounds funny, but a bit dirty. That makes sense.
They're kind of pastel-y a little bit. There's nothing is sort of shaded.
No, you could, as soon as you see a Master System game or a Nintendo Entertainment game, a NES game, you can tell, oh yeah, I know what that is. And and
if there was
straight away
versions of something, the Master System version would always look better.
Well, they didn't really get many games that had two versions, did they?
Oh, there wasn't. I mean, there was a version of Ninja Gaiden for the Master System, but I think it's a fair bit different to the NES version. There was all the things like Lemmings and what else we got? Double Dragon. That definitely looked better on the Master System, and it was very similar. So yeah, there wasn't very many that got a release on both. And also you got the Sega arcade machine, conversions like Outrun and Afterburner. They weren't massively accurate. And you obviously got the Mega Drive came out a bit later, and it had its own versions of those games. But if you look at some of the later ones, like it had a really good version of Speedball 2, which is pretty close to the Amiga. I mean, it's missing some of the sound effects and some of the details in the arena. But we'll have a look at it actually. But it's a really good port of Speedball 2. Well, I've actually got a few like there was a version on the. There was a really good version on the Commodore 64 as well, Speedball 2. Funny enough, but yeah, I mean, you could see it now. What I'm sharing, that's pretty close.
Well, Trevor, what was your favourite game on the Sega Master System?
I would probably say, I think it'd be the 3 Sonic games. So you got there was Sonic the Hedgehog, and there was Sonic 2, and you also had Sonic Chaos. There was I think there was the Sonic Spinball and Mean Bean Machine, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
I was a big fan of Sonic Chaos.
Yeah, that was great because you got to play as Tails.
Yeah,
sort of one-player game, which was great. So yeah, Sonic Chaos was good. It was very easy though. It was like you could do it in like an hour and a half. That wasn't unusual in those days for a game, though. Actually, was it? So it's probably a bit harsh.
No, that was quite common.
Sonic 2 was rock hard though. It was way harder than the Mega Drive version, but it's mainly because it was they had to basically remake those games to work on an 8-bit system. So yeah.
Well, Sonic 2 actually came out before Sonic 2 on the Mega Drive, believe it or
Yeah,
not.
yeah, and it's got Tails as like sort of featured in it, but you can't play as him, which is really
Well, no, the idea is you're trying to save Tails. So in Sonic 2 on the Mega Drive, you can play as Tails.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
and I don't remember that from back in the day. I picked it up recently, but
yeah, they're not the same kind of story, are they? I guess it's kind of almost like, I don't know if Sonic 2 on the Master System happened afterwards, in terms of the storyline, but they're not the same. It's not literally trying to copy it. It's a very different game, and it starts in this weird like lava pit underground mine level thing. And it's actually identical on the Game Gear, but it's a lot easier on the Master System because you've got more screen resolution on the right and left of the screen. So the cheap sort of deaths where there's suddenly a bunch of spikes and that come on you mega quick, you don't have any of those issues. So it's not quite as frustrating to play. But yeah, it's really hard. There's lots of physics stuff, like there's like you have like what are those things called? They have a sail thing, wind sail thing, or a hang glider thing.
I didn't like that.
No, and it was really, there was a lot of wind, wasn't there, in the level, and you have to sort of, navigate around with it, and it's really, really finicky. But it's still weirdly enjoyable. But yeah, and there was the original Sonic the Hedgehog, which was really good. Again, it was a different kind of game. They had to sort of rebuild it. But yeah, that was also good. There's loads of games that I like though. There's like the 2 Streets of Rage. It actually got its own sort of, again, talking about like Mega Drive ports. It got like a Streets of Rage and a Streets of Rage 2, which are actually quite good.
I think it just got Streets of Rage 2, not 1.
No, I've got one. I've got 2.
Oh, okay, I'm wrong then. Yeah,
you are wrong.
I'm wrong.
Yeah, they got 1 and 2. Didn't get 3. I think it was kind of dead by then. I'm just seeing right now, like Road Rash is really good. It
got a 2 though. It got Streets of Rage 2, didn't it?
It got 1 and 2. Yeah, you got Streets of Rage 1 and 2. RoboCop versus Terminator. We're looking at now. That had a really good version. That's just as good as the Mega Drive version, in my opinion. It's slightly slower and a bit choppier, but it has all the gore and all all the everything.
Oh, R-Type. That was good.
Yeah, and again, look, if you look at it, it looks just as good as like the Amiga version.
That was actually a cracking game, and I do want to get a copy of that myself. It's so hard, though. It's so hard.
Yeah, shoot 'em ups aren't very forgiving, are they?
No.
Like, you get your power, you get your shit powered up, then you die, and you lose all your power ups, and you're in this mega hard portion of the level. It's a bit unfair, but yeah, you've got a really good version of Xenon or Xenon 2, of another famous kind of Amiga game. It's quite sort of slow and choppy because I think it can quite handle it. But it's still pretty good, still pretty playable. Again, it's just like amazing to see someone like that running on a Master System.
It was a good machine. Yeah. And what was the so my favourite game was, I think it was Wonder Boy 3 Monsters
Dragon's Trap.
Dragon's Trap, yeah.
There was also Wonder Boy Monster World, yeah.
I think it was a Dragon's Trap, and that was more like a platformer, but it felt you had to. It was what they call a Metrovania game, or
Metroidvania,
Metroidvania game, where you had to go get a key, go back, buy a spell, find where you put the key in, buy this, do that, and back and forward, and I used.
But it wasn't sort of slow paced, was it? As sort of like an RPG.
No, it played much like because in these days you didn't have battery backup, or maybe you did on a few of the Fantasy Stars, maybe, I don't know. But on this game there was certainly no memory, so you had to do the whole adventure in 3 hours or 2 hours or something. So if you knew what you were doing, it would take you an hour and a half to finish. But of course, you didn't know what you were doing because you didn't know where to get this from or where to do that, or
That was the thing
you
about
know,
those sort of old games, wasn't it? There wasn't like you couldn't quickly go on the internet or like just to find a guide or watch a YouTube video.
yeah.
You were on your own. You had to just work it out.
Or you had to. It was all the things going around the school playground, or if you read
Yeah,
in a magazine,
yeah.
or you saw it on Games Master or something like that. That was the way that you found out a lot of things in games, and now these days you just watch a playthrough or a
Well, yeah, it's impossible to get stuck really in a
yeah.
game now. There'll be something somewhere on the internet that will tell you how to do it. With that counts for old games. An interesting thing as well about the Master System, and you probably were waiting for me to talk about this, but it
Yes.
has very good football games.
Oh,
Unlike the NES, which has, I don't think there's really one good football game.
the NES had a World
Nintendo
Cup.
World Cup game is that the best one? That's not even anything like real football. But you got sensible soccer on the Master System. It's not a great version of it,
No.
but it's still good.
Mm.
It got a very good kickoff, kickoff, which is basically identical to the Amiga.
Really?
Yes, it is in looks as well as the actual game. So it's probably the best one. And World Cup USA '94 is a good game. It even got Italian 90. It's kind of it's very much like the Mega Drive version. I was not saying it's a good game. It's all right, but it's kind of like a zoomed out version. Is how I would describe it. But in general, in sports games, it was really good. The ones on the NES tended to be like golf and stuff. Tended to be kind of like jokey, kind of cartoony. I wouldn't say there were simulations. Whereas the Master System would get kind of things that were trying to be a bit more simulation.
Olympic gold.
Olympic gold, yeah, the world class leaderboard.
Yeah,
that was a sort of legit kind of golf game, tennis games, and they didn't have that element of cutesy Nintendo-y Mario is making a cameo sort of thing.
No, but you got another good thing about the Sega Dreamcast, the Master System. It had a lot of the arcade
mixed up.
The arcade ports on there. So you had things like Outrun, you had Space Harrier. I think
and they're pretty good.
Afterburner was Afterburner on there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and Golden Axe. They weren't as good as the Mega Drive versions, but they came later. But they were still pretty good.
When you're 9 years old, well, you don't care. And
it was also, you would look at some of those like Amiga versions of those, say, because they got some of those like US Gold would make a lot of Sega games, wouldn't they? And some of them were pretty bad. Like I think it was really. I think Outrun was all right, wasn't it, on the Amiga? And I don't think Afterburner was that great. And often you'll find them, but you're better off playing the Master System versions because often they would be handled by Sega themselves.
Yes,
so you're kind of getting it from the source. Whereas the Amiga versions of the time, and were a third party kind of doing their best to kind of replicate, the originals. I mean, look, another one here, Populous. That's something you wouldn't have got on the NES.
No, you
that was good.
You couldn't have done that. Do you remember there was a game called anyway, on the NES you obviously had Castlevania, and then on the Master System there's a game called Shadows of Darkness, or I want to say
Prince of Darkness. I don't know exactly.
Darkness.
Of Darkness. It was basically Castlevania.
It was Castlevania. It was
Master of Darkness.
Master of Darkness. I've got that game. It's in the cupboard right next to me. It was basically just like Castlevania, but it was this is the Master System one. It's not copying Castlevania, but it really was copying Castlevania.
Well, it's good though.
It was a good game in its own right, and you look at it, and I thought it was. I've played it recently, and
it's literally the same, isn't it? You're like with this dude. I think it's literally about like killing like vampires, isn't it? And you got like you got very similar castle-based gothic levels.
Exactly.
You have like your bomb weapon, and you have like your sword weapon, and all that stuff, and they're kind of maze-like levels and stairs and all that stuff.
Very, very similar.
It's funny. I think Konami. I'm not sure. Did they actually make a Master System game? They made Mega Drive games.
Well, that was back in the day. It was if you if you made games on Nintendo and you wanted to have the license to make a game on Nintendo, you were not allowed to make a game
Yeah, so that's probably
on the Sega systems.
Sega had to make their own, basically.
So
Yeah.
Sega came out there and go, okay, well, we've got a whole back catalogue of our own IPs. And then, as you said before, they got a load of Amiga games on there. I think that's why it's popular in Europe as well. And of course, we had things like Alex Kidd. We've not talked about Sonic the Hedgehog,
Yes, you
the
could
Wonder
basically.
Boy games.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like an 8, 9-year-old kid and you wanted to play your Outruns and all that, and like some of the Amiga games, you know, that's a lot far better to say 59 quid. You know, and I could do it instead of 300 for an Amiga 500.
Well, exactly, and it was a great little console. It really, really was. And
do you get a lot of people coming into the shop buying them or trading them in?
do you know what? It hasn't got that. With Nintendo, there's a hell of a lot of nostalgia around Nintendo. But they do a great job of fueling and
It's really expensive in the UK though.
Yeah,
even just I'm not talking American cartridges. Like PAL European ones are very expensive. Apart from the super common, well, even like Mario for a good quality one, you're looking at 40 quid.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's that much, but for the Master System, it's more. There are so many. My girlfriend just messaged me.
Stop doing the podcast.
She's gone. Trains are fucked.
Oh right, nice.
There you go. Trains are fucked.
Bring home Justine.
Yeah. Shall I ask her to pick me up a takeaway?
Yeah, I think that'd be appropriate.
Yeah, honestly, I think that'll cheer her up. Anyway, so the point was that the Master System games it's not got
that thing, that mystique, has it really?
No, and I mean I love the Master System, but the branding of the games, the way the cartridges looked, they never created. They made really, really good games.
The box art was horrendous at the beginning, wasn't it? It got better.
Yeah. But they never made the good games like Zelda. They never made Metroid. They never made Mario. They never made, all of these iconic games never really came out on the Master System.
No, people don't have like that affection for Alex Kidd. Maybe for like something like Wonder Boy, perhaps, and maybe Fantasy Star. But...
yeah, but Fantasy Star a little bit. Wonder Boy to a certain extent, but it's got no real.
Sonic doesn't really have that, even though he's up there with Mario in terms of like.
Yeah,
they're 10 a penny. Those cartridges, they're sold so many in Europe.
Yeah, exactly, and it was a really good console, but it didn't have that. I don't know that those sort of magical games on it, but
it's a good time to collect for it though, because
it's always a good time.
I mean, I don't know if it'll ever get to a point where it'll become like everyone's suddenly craving like Master System because everybody's collected got all their NES stuff now and they're looking for the next thing, and that it might end up being the Master System. But yeah, you can pick it up, and I'm sure you sell them fairly cheap. But the good thing is the boxes are really sturdy.
Yeah,
so you don't. There's no premium really for a good quality box because they're all fairly good because they're just sturdy.
That's it, and.
Yeah, so like I said, you could pick up, most of the library for under £10. I think there is a few sort of gems. I think that Smurfs one that we've talked about.
Well, that's not a gem. That's just
because it's like
it's just a rare. It's a rare game. To be honest with you, it's probably a very poor game, but it's just that rare.
A weird one is going back to football games. Ultimate Soccer on the Master System is very expensive. I'm not talking like Mega Man Wily Wars expensive, but it's like you could end up paying 70, 80 quid for that, complete in the box. It's quite a late release, and it's a good game as well. It's actually another good, like for example, of a good sports game. It came out on the Mega Drive as well, but the Mega Drive version, I think it just sold way more, so there's absolutely tons of them around. You'll pick it up for like 10, 12 quid. But Ultimate Soccer, if you can find a good copy of it, I can probably go on the eBays, and Stu will of course offer it for you at a very reasonable price because he's nice with the stuff that he sells. But Ultimate Soccer on the Master System It's one that I had my eye on to add to the collection, but it's so expensive. Here we go. Look, there's a chap here. Look, he's selling it for like 30 quid with just a cartridge and a loose.
What was it?
A loose like cover.
I had a friend of mine on Facebook. There used to be a shop down, we're still there actually, down in Ashford, and he put a big pile of Master System games, and one of them was Ultimate Soccer. And he messaged me, he said, "Oh, have you seen the rare game that this shop has got?" And I was like, "Hold on, wait, what rare game are you talking about?" And it was all, you know, it was just a big pile of standard Master System games. You know, some good ones, some bad ones.
Like classic rare, yeah.
Yeah, and he goes, "Ultimate Soccer? What do you mean Ultimate Soccer?" And he said, "Oh yeah, it's really rare." So I looked at it again, like you just did.
Soccer is the ultimate sport. You know, give your phone like a game or something.
So I looked it up on eBay, and it was worth, you know, £40-50 or something. And I think, you know, when it came into the shop and they bought it in, a football game on the Master System. Okay, I'll give you £1 for it. You know, whatever.
Came about, yeah. Only better, yeah.
Well, exactly. And to be honest with you, it's
a good game as well. It's not
yeah.
one of those random, like, you know, ones that are expensive and crap, like plumbers don't wear ties. It's actually got, again, another example of the Master System as very good sports games. But I don't know, I think it just came out in sort of 1993, 94 time when the Master System was sort of dying out. And you might be like Mortal Kombat 2.
Yes.
That could be a bit more expensive, not megabucks, but 30, 40 quid.
I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't want to buy it on the Master System.
No, it was a good. It's a fairly good version for an 8-bit sort of conversion. It plays well. It plays very similar to the real thing, but obviously loads of things are missing. But yeah, obviously you're not going to get the Super Nintendo version if you're going to get one. But
yeah, you get the Super Nintendo, you get the Mega CD version on the Mega Drive,
or the Sega Saturn version. But yeah, it's when I was sort of that age, the only sort of system I had access to was an 8-bit one. So I had to get the sort of, you know, baby cut down versions of these things. So I've quite an affection for. I had the Amiga version of Mortal Kombat 2. I need to get it again. That was actually all right. Came on like 4 discs, I think, or three discs. Well, it came out on bloody everything that game. But yeah, it got on a Master System version as well. A lot of the Brazilian releases as well are quite expensive over here. Obviously, we didn't necessarily get them. But they got Mortal Kombat 3. They literally they would take the Game Gear, it's Tech Toy that you mentioned earlier. They would take the Game Gear versions of games and just sort of stick them on a Master System cartridge.
I think what they did also, they made Street Fighter 2 on the Master System.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's bad. It's missing a few characters, and they also
very jerky.
They also took lots of games from the West, and then they would sort of localize them, and they'll stick in, you know, Pablo the Plumber, or I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. And they would like, you know, a Brazilian TV character. Yeah,
or someone stick him in, and then they'll call it
Brazilian game number 10.
Well, I think it'll have a character based on some sort of cartoon character.
Yeah, so, obviously only relevant to the Brazilian sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think some of those were the Wonder Boy games. Some of the
could be right, actually. Yeah, they actually converted them.
Yeah, it was quite interesting what they would sort of be able to get away with, really.
A few of those turn up on eBay, though. I don't know if you've ever seen any in your shop. There's a sort of very distinctive blue kind of Master System text down the side.
I've never seen a Tech Toy game. I'd love to get one.
I want to try and get FIFA for the Master System because they actually got that. It's just a Game Gear version. They just slightly upscaled it.
Oh right, okay.
But yeah, I mean, there you go. There's the box to it.
How much is that on eBay? Then is it on eBay or?
Sure, we can have a look, shall we?
Have a look. I
mean, it looks like some kind of weird bootleg when you look at the box there, but it's not. It's a legit Sega licensed release. That came out. Tech Toy, like I said, they took the Game Gear version of FIFA and they converted it to the Master System. Have you got your eye on this now?
What's that?
Here we go. Yeah, for some of the other international ones.
Oh Jesus! There you go, 17,
£80 for Brazil.
80. I don't want
acceptable
it.
condition.
I don't want it that much.
You know what that means, Stu. Acceptable condition for a Master System game. The hanging tab will be cut off.
Oh, well,
Disgusting. Get out of my sight.
I'd rather have the hanging tab cut off because then they all stack.
Easier
to stack, mate. Easier to stack.
Yeah, but it's not genuine. How can you live with yourself?
Right.
How can you live with yourself, Stu?
Do you want to know the Master System games I've got?
Yes.
Right. I've got Sonic Chaos.
Yes.
I've got Master of Darkness. Okay. I've got Fantasy Zone.
I didn't want to say yes after everyone. It might get a bit annoying.
Fantasy Zone. Gauntlet. Oh, I've got some loose ones here.
How many have you got in total then? Is it
probably only about 10, I think. Gauntlet. Oh no. Tasmania. Dynamite Ducks. Enduro Racer. Shinobi. Double Dragon. And Land of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse. That's all I've got. I thought I had more than that.
I don't want to upstage you, Stu, but I've got about 35.
Oh, all right.
Master System games at the moment. So yeah,
big bollocks.
Got a bit of
show me up.
That's not hard. You've only got 10 of them though.
I've just sent you a message on Facebook as well. I might have to leave because there's been a problem with Justine's train. I've got to go pick a hill.
Well, you should tell you're on a podcast, and that's more important. Well, I think we've probably done an hour. haven't we?
I think we've done over an hour.
I think everybody's fallen asleep by now, anyway. Okay, well in that case, we'll leave it there, shall we? So thanks, everybody, for checking out our latest episode. We might have a bit of an interesting one next time because we've actually, for those of you who listen to any other podcasts, we've actually got the retro guy. Don't ruin it. I want them to tune in. So yes, we're not going to say when.
Joe Rogan coming on the show.
Yeah, we don't want to make you think we're going to do this every week.
We haven't got Joe Rogan.
No, we'd love to. He said no. But yeah, we've got the Retro Hour guys. If you don't know who they are, I can show you their website very quickly. But they do a very good podcast. A couple of chaps called Dan and Ravi. We're actually going to interview them. Check out the website here, theretrohour.com. It's basically like our podcast, but actually professional and interesting. So you're like, shut up! Oh, this is interesting. They're basically like us. They're mostly Amiga centric, but really, really good. Two really cool guys. Dan, one of the two guys, has got his own channel on YouTube as well, where he talks about sort of interesting tech and Amiga sort of stuff. So check those guys out on the retrohour.com. We're going to have them here. We're going to have an interview with them, ask them some questions. Feel free, for anybody listening, to chuck us any things you want us to ask them. We'll be happy to give that a go. Within, keep it sort of nice. I've given you Stu's surname now, so you can troll him to your heart's content.
Whoa!
Does anybody want us to troll Stu? I'm not sure. Cool. All right. Well, I'll let you sort of go and rescue your girlfriend. Then I'll take it. That's probably what's going to happen.
I think so. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much. And
subscribe, of course.
Like, share, and subscribe. Playnation Games, Croydon. Croydon's best retro video game shop store.
And only. Yeah. Right. Cheers, guys, and take care. And we'll see you in the next one.
Keep it real.